Okay, so let's look at what we got here. Today I'm going to cover how to do the animation in xcode. Again, the way that I would make an animation is to cycle through a series of still images, and so we're going to be using kind of the animated GIF idea. So this is something that it'll look like this inside of xcode. I'm basically making a music player, and I want to see like music bar. This is not going to the beat or anything. It's kind of just randomly done, but I just want to show you how I would export this out, and we'll make this and then export this out to bring into xcode to do a cycle animation. We call it cycle animation. So let me just start with a new file, and so I'm going to go File, New. And I'm just going to make it, this is about 600 by 300. This is the dimensions that I want. And I'm going to hit Create. Next, I'm going to give it a background color because I'm going to use kind of a dark background inside of xcode. So I want it to be kind of a darkish color here. And so I'm going to fill this in by going under Edit Fill. And I'm going to choose, as far as the content, color. And then I'm going to choose a color. I kind of like this dark yellowish background. So I'm going to use a dark yellowish background. I don't want black, but I don't want too light, and I don't want like pure gray. So I'm going with this, and again, you see this number right here, 323125. This is a hexadecimal value. Also, you might want to write down the RGB values that you see here, 50, 49, and 37, because I can then enter those into xcode if I want to use the same color, maybe for the background there, or whatever you want to use those colors. So again, you have the hexadecimal value or the RGB values there, and then you hit OK, and it makes your color. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Next, I'm going to let me kind of move this around here so I have a little bit more space here. So next, I'm just going to make some new layers here. I'm going to make a new layer for a line that goes across the middle. So I'm going to make a new layer here, and this will be, we can even call it a name, line, middle line. How about that? We can call it middle line. Again, you can rename layers by just clicking on the name. Make sure you have layers open. I'm going to be just using layers. If you don't see any layers open, you go under Window Layers, and it'll pop up. If it's jammed over here somewhere, you can just find the word layers and drag it out, and you can make the window bigger by going like this in the lower left corner. The other thing I'm going to have open, it will be the timeline. If you don't see timeline, you go under Window Timeline, and that'll bring up the timeline. And it might be over here, drag it out. Okay, so the next thing again is I'm going to make a middle line right here, so I'm going to select that layer. And I'm just going to use a brush for everything that I'm doing today. So again, just using a paintbrush. I made mine about 4 pixels, and then I turn the hardness down because I want to have nice, soft, fluffy edges, if that's a word, fluffy edge, so that it kind of glows a little bit instead of it being such a hard edge. So again, I'm using a brush that's 14 pixels by with a low hardness. Then I'm going to choose, I chose a bright green color here. If you double click down here in the color swatch, you could choose whatever color you want. I choose a nice bright green color, and I'm going to kind of draw a line that goes straight across the middle. Now, the key here is I'm going to use the brush with the Shift key and the left mouse click on the mouse. So to draw a straight line kind of through the middle, I'm going to put my cursor kind of in the middle, and I'm going to draw a straight line that goes across. Again, what makes it go straight is the Shift key holding down. I got a nice straight line. Next, I'm going to make a new layer. Again, to make a new layer in the Layers window, there's a little plus next to the trash can. If you're using an older version of Photoshop, there's no plus there. It looks like kind of a square with it's next to the trash can here. This is a new version. I'm using Photoshop 2020, and they keep changing things on me. So there's a new icon right here. It looks like a plus. Next, I'm going to make the lines go up and down like this to go across this line. We'll call this one lines 1. How about that? And to do this, make sure you select the layer. To do this, I'm just going to use again the Shift key, but I'm going to just drag straight down. So I'm going to kind of I'm going to hold the Shift key down, drag down. I'm going to let my finger up off the mouse, and I'm going to drag down again, and then drag down again, and then drag down again, again. I'm just going to keep going like this. All I'm doing is string, and again, I'm holding the Shift key down and dragging straight down. You don't have to be precise. This is music is not, music wave would never be precise. So there's one good one right there. Okay, so we got some waves in there. Again, I was just dragging straight down. Again, I'm going to make a plus over here, this little plus, and I'm going to call this one lines 2. And I'm going to turn off, there's eyeballs in the layer window. I'm going to turn off the eyeball for lines 1, so I don't need to see that right now. And make sure you have lines 2 selected. And I'm just going to go and do it again. Try and do a little bit different pattern, maybe. Some bigger ones, some really big ones like that. There's some big ones, big ones, big ones. Not everything has to be perfect. It can be down, 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 up. And down, 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 up. Down, 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 up. Down. So something like that. There we go. So lines 2. Next, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to call it lines 3. And I'm going to turn this off right there, and then lines 1. And then let's do it again. Maybe some big ones on the end here. Some small ones, big ones, big ones, big ones, small ones. Well, there was a big jump there. That's okay. And there's a big one. Maybe do some big ones there. There we go. So there we go. That was kind of sloppy one there, but that's okay. You have some sloppy ones, have some that you think you did a good job at. Okay, last one, lines 4. So I'm going to turn this one off. Let's call this one lines 4. Again, we're just going to go. Let's do a couple small ones here. Small ones, big ones, big ones, big ones. Big ones, big ones, small ones, small ones, small ones, small one, big one, small one, small one, small one. Big one, small one, small one, small one, big one, big one, big one, big one, small one, small one, small one, small one, small one, big one, small one. There we go. Something like that. Whoosh. That looks a little sloppy, but you get the point. So once you have, again, I have 4 of them. I got 1, 2. Now, if you put them all on, you can see it looks kind of sloppy. That's what we're not going to do. We're going to be turning one on at a time in our animation. So to do the animation, we're going to use the timeline down here. So again, I turned all the eyeballs off for the first, the line 2, 3, and 4 eyeball off. I only have line 1 on. I'm going to come down here to the timeline and say create timeline right here. And I really don't want a timeline. What I really want is something called a frame by frame. So after you say create timeline, I'm going to go over here to the very lower left corner of the timeline and click on the animation option. It's called frame by frame animation. So as you can see, I have a 1 here, and what I'm going to do is match this one with the 1 layer that is over here. Next, I'm going to hit the plus. Again, in the older version, it looked like a square, but now it's a plus. If you click on that, it'll give me a 2, and I'm going to go turn 2 on and turn 1 off. And then I'm going to come over here to the timeline again. I'm going to click a new frame, and I'm going to turn 2 off and turn 3 on. And then one more, I'm going to hit the plus here for a new frame. I'm going to turn 4 on and 3 off. And then it's basically done. We could do our animation now. You'll notice you have 4 different frames here. The problem is they're all at 5 seconds, and then poof, that would be pretty slow animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Shift key, and I'm going to select all the layers together. You just hold down the Shift key and select them all. And then towards the bottom of one of them, it doesn't matter which one, where it says 5 seconds, click and hold the mouse down, and I'm going to go down to about 0.02 seconds here. And 0.2 seconds there. And then I'm going to hit play, and you'll see what my animation looks like. And so that's what it'll look like in xcode when we get to programming it in xcode, or that was what it would look like inside of an animated GIF. So we'll save as an animated GIF, but I've been having issues trying to bring an animated GIF into xcode. And plus it's better to learn the programming and how to program this in xcode. So I don't like this one as much as I liked my other one, so I'm actually going to close this and go back to my first one I made. There we go. I like the way I did this one a little bit better, but here is the exact same one. I like my artwork in this one a little bit better. Okay, so this is what it would look like. So we're going to first let's save the Photoshop file. So I'm going to go under File, Save As, and I'm going to change. Geez, I'm sick of this. I'm going to change. Let's call this one animated lines, and let's save that. Next, if we want to make this an animated GIF, so we can put it on our website or whatever you want, you can go under File. Save, well, geez, I don't know. There's a save as. Is there a GIF inside there? There is a GIF. I don't know. Will it let me save as animated GIF there? It doesn't really give me the animation option here. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's go under File, Export, Save for Web Legacy, Export As. I don't know. Let's just see what Export As says. It says PNG. Let's say GIF. Does it have an export option there? Is there an animation option in there? No, it doesn't even say that there. Okay, so that's no good. How do we make an animated GIF in Photoshop? I don't know. Let's go File, Export, Save for Web Legacy, the old version, yes. That'll save as an animated GIF. File, say Export, Save for Web Legacy, and it should say animation down here. Yeah, see how it says looping animation forever. Well, there you go. So this will make an animated GIF, so I can save this, and let's give that, let's leave it the same name, save. Okay. Now that's all good. We have a Photoshop file that is like how we built it. Sounds great. And then we have an animated GIF that we can put on a website, which you can put in xcode, but there's some coding. You have to code it in. I don't know that. I think better to save each of the frames that you see here, remember 1, 2, 3, 4, as a PNG file, and then we'll take those PNG files and put them into xcode to do the animation in xcode. So again, I'm going to start with my first layer here, and well, layer 2 here is my my first lines. So I'm going to choose that and go File, Save As, and I'm going to choose PNG this time. PNG, and let's call that animated lines 1, and let's save that. Okay, let me go to number 2 here, turn the eyeball on for that one, and I don't even think you have to change the frame here because we're not really changing anything there. It's more of what's on over here. So File, Save As, animated lines PNG, let's put a 2 in there, and let's save that. Okay, let's go to this one, turn the eyeball off, that one, File, Save As, again, PNG, animated lines 3, and let's save that. Okay, and then last one, File, Save As, animated lines PNG, and then let's choose 4. Okay, so now if you look at what you have, you would have, oh, here's the example inside of xcode, right? Now this was a spiral that we stole off the internet, but I just made my own, so, and you know, hey, let's go with our own here. Again, where are they? I put them on the desktop. Here they are. So again, you should have 4 animated lines. Next, we'll go and do the code for that in the next class.